Good evening and assalamu alaikum, guys. This is Abdul Rahman from Code in Pakistan. I welcome you all on to this week's weekly jam. Uh, we have Saad Bilal today. He is a senior software engineer at Datamscare. He'll be talking about Android native development with GitHub Actions to automate build processes. Over to you, Bilal. Over to you, Saad.
Hello everyone, how are you? So let's start. I think let's jump into the uh, talk because I have to present you code-wise too. So let me share my screen first, then I'll introduce uh, in the slides. So I'm sharing my screen.
Sure. Before starting, just a quick info. If you have any questions, we'll take the questions at the end of this session. So feel free to post them in the chat for now, and we'll pick the questions from there. Thank you.
Yeah. So can you guys see my screen?
Yep, it's up.
Uh, Abdul, if you can verify.
Yes, your screen is up. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Your screen is up. People, they can see
Uh,
your screen.
all right. So, guys, let me start from the very first. As the title shows, that it's basically the Android native development with GitHub Actions to automate build process. So it's basically the main core objective of this talk today is that I have to present in front of you that how we can make the idea and till from idea to production, how we can make our applications. So it's the core objective of this talk is we can we need to know how we can use GitHub Actions to automate our build process. As you know that as a mobile developer, it is a bit tricky thing that you have to present the builds, that APKs or IPAs for iPhone to your QAs and other persons. This process is very uh, this process innovates all the from development, then testing, then to deployment. This is the process to automate that Android build system. So let's start from here. So who am I? It's a little introduction. So I'm a senior software engineer and I'm working in a Danish startup for now. And I am on GitHub and Stack too. These are my links. You can reach me on LinkedIn too. So I think moving on. So what is the objective today here? So first of all, as you know, this is a kind of Android thing. So it's a mobile platform, and we need to know that how we can interact or how we can deploy our build, Android build, more specifically APK or .app bundles using GitHub Actions to any deployment platform like stores or any distribution stores like Firebase of Google. I need to cover these topics. First of all, I have to introduce what is Android for the persons who don't know or know a little. Then we can discuss the Android architecture for sure. Then we can have some app components we need to discuss when we are developing the application. Then I will show you how we can make a repo and interact with GitHub Actions. Then we talk about workflows, and obviously then we jump into the artifacts. We have to upload the artifacts to the Firebase. So I'm using Firebase here, but we can have many options here. So I'll discuss later on later slides. So first and the foremost, what is basically the Android? As you all know that all the mobile platforms are based on Linux kernel, as because Linux is more a process oriented operating system, so they are built like Android, and more specifically Android and iPhone both are Linux based kernels they are built on. This is basically Open Handset Alliance when first developed the Android. And in 2027, we have the first commercial device of Android, that was HTC, that was the flip phone, HTC Dream, as you know, and officially launched in September 2008. So, Android operating system is basically built on the kernel Linux, a Linux kernel. So, here is the architecture of Android. So, I'll discuss the whole software stack, whole components. So, basically, Android is divided into five components here. So the very very last, we can start from very last layer, that is Linux kernel. So basically what Linux kernel is, in Linux kernel we do have all the hardware drivers. Like we have low level coding, you can say that we have the vendor codes here, and we have all the drivers written on that kernel. And kernel is basically, beneath the kernel we do have HAL, and that is a hardware abstraction layer that needs to be talked with upper layers. Like this is basically the balance out and the communication pathway between software and hardware. Above that, we have native libraries. These libraries are basically, as you know, that Android, you need to have many things in Android. Contains many applications, like you can have contacts, you can have media, like you are playing music, and you have 2D and 3D things working on. Then you have customized fonts. So these native libraries are basically are of that kind. So we do have media here, which can handle all the codecs things. Like if you are playing some music, then SQLite is basically the database when you are storing something. Free types are the custom fonts. This library can customize the fonts. And then OpenGL graphics is basically the layer of graphics, and OpenGL is a 3D, or we can have SGLs, 3D or 2D graphic abstraction layers here. These are native libraries of that. And we do have libc here, which communicate between these. The most important thing in Android is that Android runtime. As you know, if you're a Java developer, we do have JVM, that is called Java Virtual Machine. So that virtual machine can convert your Java code or to the class files, and then convert to the Java Virtual Machine extensions code. But here we do have another runtime that is called Delvic. So Delvic is basically Android specific virtual machine. So we can say it Delvic virtual machine. And what Delvic virtual machine can do is, uh, when you are writing the code in Java language or in any Kotlin language, as you know that this needs to be converted into class files. The code which computers can understand, or which boards can understand. So Java Delvic machine basically converts your code to .class files, and .class files convert the code into bytecode, that is JVM code. And then in between that, we do have dex, which can convert the bytecode into the dex code. We can use here the JVM, but JVM is not so efficient for small kind of devices. Like we do have limited resources, like we have limited RAM, we have limited battery, and we have limited things. So Delvic Virtual Machine make it easy and efficient to have the archives, which run on mobile phones, basically in Android mobile phones. Then we have apt Android asset packaging tool that can package our APK or .app file, which can archive the the resources code, the source code, and convert source code when it convert to the dex files. So it's basically the most important part is here Delvic Virtual Machine, which convert the Android specific code here for us. Then on top of that, we have another important layer, that is basically application frameworks. So application framework is basically pre-written in Java language. They are high level you can say Java, because Java is a high level language, so they are written in high level language. They are basically the managers. They can do more work for us, so we can make the applications and use these frameworks to make sure that everything is intact. So what this activity manager here is doing, that this activity manager holds all the life cycle or manage all the life cycle of the activity. You can say that activity is the view, front view, that user can see, and it has a life cycle. When it comes down, and when it go to background, foreground, resume, so it deal all with activity manager here. Then window manager is taking care of all the window operations of the screens. Then content providers, if you want to share any data with external applications, you have the content provider. Then package manager is dealing with the packages of the application to make the unique identifiers for the application. Telephony manager is basically dealing with all your phone calls, SMS, MMS. So all these telephony things are can be dealt with this telephony manager. Then the last is application. Now as a developer, as a mobile developer, I have to make the applications, mobile applications for the users, so they can use. So this is that part. These are the applications that developers build while using these application frameworks, these native libraries on the backend. And obviously, when we are dealing with Android, we are using Delphi Virtual Machine. If any developer knows or not, we are using this. And obviously, when we are using the camera, we are using some external like BLE, Bluetooth Low Energy thing. So we are dealing with the hardware. So this kernel, Linux kernel, can directly talk to the hardware, and then we can accordingly have the callbacks or built-in methods for that to have the application framework uh, 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 with that, and then we build the application using all these components here. So there are some libraries that are written in C++ and C. So this converts into the high-level language Java. More on the Linux kernel. Linux kernel basically, as I mentioned, that we do have all drivers here, all the memory management of the phone, like when we are using any kind of phone, between any we do have memories, computations on the backend. So this memory computation and management is all done in Linux kernel. Then we have the process management. Everything has a process. Like you are calling your friend, and there's a process. You are SMS to someone. It's the process. So every thing in mobile is basically a process. We are doing the processes at a backend. So this all can be dealt here in Linux kernel. So for Android, we do need the major components of Android. So how Android works? These are basically the four major components of Android. As I said, that we do have activities. Activities are basically the single screen for the users, as it mentioned. It's basically an interface, and in activity user can perform anything. He can play a game, he can call a person, he can SMS a person. So basically application is the main interface for the users. Then we move on to services. Those services are basically long-lasting tasks when we are doing at background. Like if we are playing the music and we are doing some other work, like we are the codec is playing the music. So this is basically the service running background, and it's the long-lasting task. So a service is a component that run in the background to perform long-running operations. So then we have broadcast receivers. So broadcast receivers simply respond to broadcast messages or the other applications of the system. It can broadcast the messages within the application or for the other applications. So if we have any message from other application, then we do have broadcast receivers for that purpose. Then if we are we need to share some data to the external application, we can use the content providers. The content provider supplies data to one or the other applications on request. So if any application requests data from our application and we do have permissions, we can share the data with the content providers. So I think with that, this is the basic information, or you can say the basic basis of Android. Then let's move to make the Hello World program, because we have a long journey to pass on. Then we need to upload to Git repo. Then we have to make the workflow. I'll let you know that how you can have the GitHub Actions intact, and then how you find the workflow, write the workflow, what is the technologies we can use. Then we build the application. Then last point is that we need to upload to the Firebase as a build. So let's jump into the coding part. So I'm what I can do is I can create a new project for you guys, and I can say it's empty activity. So if let me explain here a bit, so everyone can relate to that. So I'm creating the empty project here, and I have to mention the name of my application. So I can say code movement, code movement. And I have to specify the package name. This package name is basically the unique identifier. When you are uploading the application, this unique you have to mention this unique identifier, because this is the unique ID of your project. So this is, I think this is good. Then we have to uh, store this. I can say demo app code moment. I'm using the Java language and minimum SDK. We do have the API levels in Android, but I have to use 21 API level, because 98% of devices, approximately, this can run on 98.0% of devices. So let me finish the project. So it's basically the Gradle project, and the Gradle is compiling and downloading the necessary files for us. So it's basically the structure of the application is, as you know, that every application has architecture pattern we need to use in Android, iPhone, or some .NET project. So mostly the architecture pattern here uses MVVM, that is Model View Presenter. But we are not gonna go there, because we have to make this application to have the GitHub action attached with it. So what I can do is, this is the Hello World uh, project, and let me add here code movement, code movement. So let's run this project. You can see on the emulator if we can have this. So it's launching the activity. So we have our Hello World program up and running. So we do have this main activity, as I have discussed, that this is the main component of Android. So it's the activity, and it's this is the parent class of the activity, and we have set the content view here. So let me go to GitHub. So this is my GitHub. So let me create a repo. I can say code movement. And now what we are doing is, we are making the repository. Then we need to upload the application to that repository, and then we need to attach the GitHub Actions with that using some workflows. So I'll make it public, and I'll create the repository here. So now we do have this HTTPS link here for our Git repository, but first we need to go to here, and then cd desktop. We need to find our project, cd demo. So this is basically, I can see, yeah, this is my project on the desktop. And what I can do here is I have to, git init here. So with git init, we have all the git setup here. Then I need to add all the files in my local repository. So I have added all the files on my local repository. Then I have to, commit it locally here. So let me. So I can say this. This is the first commit, or I have committed my local changes here. But remember, when we need to, upload the application to the GitHub, we have to, make the we have to add the remote. So the command is git remote add origin. We have to add the origin we have discussed here, and we have fetched from here. So if this can, git remote add origin, this can add. So we need to check this. So for checking, we have the command git remote version. So yeah, now our fetch and push are, set up with this repository we have created here. So now we need to, uh, we need to upload that project. So I have to, push. This is my local repository. I have, committed all the code in local repository. Then I have to, push that code to my GitHub. And also, mention with this command git push and mention the origin. If when I have init the project, I can, mention the branch too with with this with this. So the branch is -b, and we can name any branch. But I have, done it as a master, so I have push in master. So now my code should be here. Yeah. So our hello world code is here now. So, like I said, that we need to, we are simplifying the process from idea to production. So we have to, I want that my code, when I commit the code, my code should, build itself, and then check the lints, and then make the APKs and upload to the Firebase. So for that, I need to have to click on this action button. So from here, I need to tell you that there are many CI/CD pipeline frameworks, or you can say the tools out there in the market. Like, for most important tool is Jenkins, Circle CI, but they are somehow, third party integrations, because all the code we have in the GitHub. So this is here, the actions are here on the GitHub cloud, as we do not need to, set the servers for the actions. So we don't need to have the external tools come in, and we have to integrate all the tools. So this is all the mess. So that's why, GitHub Actions wins the game here. So as this is the marketplace of the GitHub. GitHub has defined many of actions. You can also define your actions. Actions are basically defined in YAML files, so you can also define your actions. But GitHub provide us the marketplace where there are, predefined actions. So what we are trying to do here is we need to, build our application. So we can, search from here that because this project is of a Gradle type project. So our project is of, of a Gradle dependencies project. So we need to, make sure that if there is, any Gradle based action already defined here. So we have Java with Gradle. This is action by GitHub. Then we have with Ant, that is another, action here. Then so I can see here that we have specifically, with the Java language, we have specifically have the actions of Android. So this is called Android CI. So let's configure this one. So when I look what happened. So when I configure this in my repository, there is GitHub made that dot GitHub repository dot GitHub directory, and then it have another workflows, and then it have the application android.yaml. So this is basically the format of the workflows. This is basically the workflow which is written in YAML file, and I have taken this from the marketplace. So if this is if I can change this GitHub to something else, this does not work. It's because this is the standard to have the same path here. So now when I go to my code and uh, so I go to my actions. So let me configure that action again. Now you can see, let me open this in the editor. So first of all, let me show you from here. So what this action is basically, uh, um, when we are, you know, so what are basically GitHub Actions? So let me explain here. So we can automate, customize, execute our software development workflows right in our repository with GitHub Actions. Like we don't need to have some third-party tools integration in our GitHub. So this is very easy that we have the repository that is in the GitHub, and then we have also the actions which are in the GitHub. So this is kind of the connectivity between GitHub Actions and the repo. So we can discover, create, share actions to perform any job, like including CI/CD. So most of people think that this GitHub action is a kind of CI/CD pipeline, but this is the part. CI/CD pipeline is basically the part of that GitHub Actions. There are a lot many things we can do with the GitHub Actions, but as because we aiming that we have to deliver our APK or our build to our QAs for the testing purpose, and to automate our build process, to make a little lint test, to make a code analysis test. So we have to make sure that we need to have this automated, so that we can have more time of the coding as a developer. So we can discover, create, and share actions, including CI/CD, or we can have our own customized workflow. So, what are those workflows? Basically, we are doing a lot of things as a developer. We have to build the code. We have to make the view, the API call, the server things. If there is external hardware, we need to connect it with this. Then this is another overhead that we have to deliver the build. So these all needs to be automated. So basically, what workflows does is that workflows have some events. It's basically event driven. So we need to define the events that whenever my code is pushed, or whenever my pull request, I have a pull request, so I need to trigger some actions based on the events. So basically, workflows are the events. It's basically you can ease the developer to have all the automated things till the build. So why this is this integration is easy, uh, because first of all, this is the git we are pushing our code to the GitHub, and this is already a GitHub tool, that is GitHub Actions. So how we can integrate with other technologies is that we don't need to install. Let's say if I have a Gradle project, I have to make sure that I have all the required dependencies like JDKs or JREs if required, and the Gradle, any Gradle things. So we don't want to install this. So this all can be done by the workflow. If there's an event, or we can have the action. So in the action we can define that install this JDK. So I'll go there and explain you in more detail, like so basically, and, this is the format of your workflow that is called Android, and this is in YAML file. what you can do is that we have an event dot on. So this is the event that when there is a push or when there is a pull request, there are a lot bunch of events there in the GitHub Actions. You can I'll share the link, uh, but I'm particularly talking about this push. So if anyone can push the code on specific branch like master branch, then what needs to be done? So here are basically the jobs. In any particular job we do have actions and steps. So we want our action that we need to build something, and we have to specify that on which server we need to build that. So we can identify with this keyword runs on, and we have specified here like Ubuntu latest. I can do what I can do is I can we can have a possibility to have strategy, and then we have metrics. What we can do here, there are a lot whole bunch of possibilities. We can if there is an application that client wants to test on Mac OS or Ubuntu or Windows. So what we can do is we have opportunity to define our OS. We do have here array, so we can define that on how many you can operating system this should run. So we can identify here is Ubuntu latest here, and then Windows latest, and you can say Mac OS latest. So it will run all the build process. I'll tell you the steps later. All the build process will run on all these operating systems. So we do have this opportunity here, and let's have a let's we can run this. I don't need a pull request because I'm the only developer here for now in this code. So I have an event that is a push event on a branch which is the master branch. Then I want this on the Ubuntu latest. And what I need to do here is that first of all I ask this workflow to check out my code. This is basically there are a lot of whole things that we need to whenever we are building our project, we need to check out our project. So how can we check out? How can this whole bunch knows what is your code? So basically, GitHub already defined in the actions. If you can, if I can, so so basically, this is GitHub Actions, and these are predefined actions defined by GitHub. So if I go to some checkout, so let me view all repositories. This checkout is another action predefined by Google. So So this one. So actually we are using here we are using this action that is predefined that checked out our code with version 2. This is basically the checkout repository version. So basically this is the repository, and this is the predefined. This is developed by the community of GitHub. Uh, you can see this is the repository, and we have this action YAML file here. So you can also customize this. We do have many options to customize this can fetch our code or check out our code from our repository. Then we have another action that we can specify the name of the action that we need to set up the JDK. because this is a Java project, so we need a JDK. Then there is another action defined for that JDK setup. So as this is another repository dot setup Java, that is also version 2. You can check the latest versions. Then we have some extra details here, that what version we need to run, or what distribution we need to learn, or we want to cache it or not. So these are basically the whole thing. You can check out these repositories. These are basically the steps. Then what you want to do is, like, what I want to do here is, I need to find, this is basically, from here you can build dot slash gradle w build. You can build your Android code here. But what we want to do is, we need to have another, we need to find another, you can say, the action from the marketplace to upload the artifacts on Firebase. So I need to uh, search for the Firebase action here. So I can see Firebase app distribution action here. So I can click on that. This is basically the community help here. You can also define your actions here. So basically, this is the whole action, that build and upload to Firebase app distribution. And this tell us that if there is a push, then we can build, run on Ubuntu, and check out JDK 1.8. And what we want to do is build release. So what I can do is, I can copy this whole bunch of code from here and go to my own YAML file. And I don't want to do this. I don't want to build the project. I want to make an API. Sorry, make an get the APK. So make sure you are editing this on your compilers. I can do that, but let me do here. So I can say that I want to build a debug uh, build, and I have to, this command is gradle w assemble release. I need to change with the debug. I don't want to make a release build. Then this, again, this is another action, that upload artifacts through Firebase app distribution. And as we have this action, we are using this. So what we can do is, this uses this repository. Uh, this brother has made this repository, and this is the version 1. So we are using this repository to make our APK upload to the Firebase. Then what we can do is, we need to authenticate the Firebase platform. That is very important thing. That if there is a Firebase platform, like I do have my Firebase platform. Let me go to my account. So this is my Firebase platform basically. So what I can do is, I have to go to my console. I need to create a project. So the project can be named code movement, and I accept the terms. Then I disable the analytics for this project. I don't need that. That is creating the project. So this whole bunch of thing is one-time effort to automate your build. Then anytime you can commit your code, you can push your code automatically. Your build has been delivered to your QAs. So that is basically the build automation process. That is finishing up. Uh, let's continue with this. So we have this code movement project. Uh, then I need to go to project settings here. So we have all the required IDs here. We have all the project IDs, project numbers already defined here. So first of all, we need to select the platform. So for the code movement, where we are not using iOS, we are using Android. So we need to select the platform. Then we have to register our application basically. So what is the package name? Because this is the unique identifier, we have to copy the package name from here. Although this package name have some conventions, you can have the same without any underscores, and without any camel notation. You can add this code movement uh, without camel notations or any underscores. Then you have to mention your app nickname. So I can say code movement. Then this is the optional thing, but you have to add this SHA-1 key. Basically, you can go to the Gradle. It's here. Then you need to have this signing report. You click here, and this signing report has SHA-1. This needs to be added because we need to communicate our application. So and that is very important part. So I can add the SHA-1 here, register the application. So my application has been registered. Now they give me the config file. I have to add this config file in my, you can say, project app directory. So let me delete this and rename this. So I have to copy this file in my project here. In app directly, you can copy this. This is basically the file. You have all the integrations of Firebase here. Uh, and this is basically the object. Then we have the array and we have the objects, all the project IDs, project numbers, and the client information IDs are generated from Firebase are here. So now we have, edit this file. We need to, attach the Firebase SDK. So for our project level build, we need to, add this google.gsm services. And we make sure that we have a Google repository there. That is the Maven based repository. So we need to go to our Android. Then here, this is the project level Gradle file. We have to add this, and we make sure that Google is there. We need to sync it. Then we comes here, all is good. Then in app level, build.gradle, we need to, implement this. We need to add the Firebase dependency in our build.gradle project app build.gradle. So we comes here, we have to add on top of that here, and we have to apply the plugin too. So this is the new way to apply the plugin. You have also you have the key to apply plugin, but this is the new way. So you have to use this. So let me only, okay. So now we need to sync the project, and project has been synced. We need to run it if everything is okay. Yeah, it's working fine. So I think we have attached the dependencies. So we need to go to our GitHub action again. Now we have specified that we need to, have use this repository to upload the artifacts. So now we need app ID and token, and we need to have the groups, and we need to change. First of all, as you know that I have changed from release from debug, and here I am also fetching the debug build. So I have to change the path here. So it's basically should be debug and app debug APK. So it's basically in the app folder. When we compile the application, we do have output folder called build. Then we have this outputs again, then APK build and app debug.apk. So we have mentioned there, but we don't have this right now. So I think this file looks good when we push the code. These all automation process will trigger itself because we do have .github slash workflow slash Android YAML, so it knows that it needs to be triggered. So let me commit this in my master branch. Uh, so my code has been committed. Let me update from here. So I need to, pull the changes first. Uh, right. So I have to push this. Okay. So I have pushed this code. Now you can see this is the workflow we have just created, and now it's going. It's running, and it will check all the steps, like it's setting up the job for us. It's building this, but this should fail because we don't have the authentication right now for the Firebase. We need to add the authentication, so it should fail here. Upload artifacts to Firebase distribution. So let me add this. So go to our project, continue to console. Now this is code moment is attached, successfully attached with our application, that is Android application. Now we need to go to the setting of the project. We do have this ID. Copy that ID from our code. We need to mm, so this section is failed. As you know, this doesn't authenticate the Firebase, so we need to add the Firebase authentication. So we have to go to settings here, and there is a secret option. We have to add the secrets against actions. We need to create a new secret here. So secret name is Firebase app ID. I have copied Firebase app ID from here, from the project settings, and from here we do have app ID. So let me add app ID here and add this secret. Then I need to add another secret, that is app token, Firebase token. Now, how to fetch the Firebase token? For the Firebase token, you have to attach the CLI of the Firebase. You have to install the CLI of Firebase. So you can install it for Mac OS. I do have Mac OS. I have already installed it. This you have a Window and Linux. You can install. So let's check if I have Firebase. Firebase. Uh, so yeah, I have Firebase already. So I need to log out from my old user. So I have logged out from this Gmail. I need to log in with some other on which I have created the project here. So it is basically Saad Bilal official. So let us Firebase login. Yes. So it comes here and it authenticate my account. So I allow it. So I'm successfully logged in as a Saad Bilal official. And now I need to fetch the uh, token of Firebase. So I need to fetch the token of Firebase. So the command is Firebase login and continuous CI. So it's again authenticate because of secure platform. You need to allow the access, and I successfully now authenticated this, and I do have this token here. So I need to copy this token from here. I have to go to here, add this token as a secret. So now I do have two tokens here, which I have updated Firebase app ID and token. Then I have to go to my actions again, basically my code again. And I don't see, any action created here for some reason. So what I can do is I can go to the marketplace and search for Android CI. So let me check from here. Don't have that action file, so I have to copy that action file from their repo. So we copied here and code here. I have to go to actions here. Sorry, in the code I have to create a new file dot GitHub and slash Android dot YML. So I have to paste this. This is Android CI. I have to name it Ubuntu checkout. It's debug, and we are using this. And now we have to set up our you can say the QA team here. So from the project, let me go to the project overview. Here is release and monitor. We have to go to app distribution. We have to accept that, and we have to, this is for now in a beta, but we are here now. We need to add the tester group here, so I can name it the code movement group testers group. Save. I have to add myself here, so I can add my email, Saad Bilal official at gmail.com. Enter. So let me go to my email. I do have invite of Firebase that says welcome to Firebase. I have to make sure that I get started here. Sorry, this one is not the email. So this is added automatically. Now this is CM tester groups. This is the key ID here. So you have to copy this. This is basically when we are implementing GitHub action. We need to mention here in the groups. So I have to mention this. This is my tester groups, and we do have secrets app ID or Firebase token in already attached. We need to Gradle assemble the application, and all thing is good. And we have to mention this master because we do not have the main branch here. So everything looks good. Let me Okay. So let me commit the changes. So now we have that repository, Git, and we have this Android YAML file here, and I have committed the change. So there is no workflow triggered. Let me go here. Okay, let me change something in the project. So it's not triggering. Let me check what is the issue. Yeah, my file is not committed. So it's a code moment. Let me check the right. So everything is updated. So let me add the file here. Don't mention the workflow. That's why I think it's problematic. Then we need to go back again. Workflows. So now let's check it.
Hi, Saad. We are actually
Yeah.
running towards the end of the time, so it would be great if you can
Yeah,
wrap up.
yeah. Actually, I'm wrapping up.
All right. Thank you, man.
Yeah. So, so now this trigger, because as you see that when I have added .github folder and I missed the workflow folder. So it's basically a directory structure. If you don't follow that structure, it will never work. So now we have added this. Let's see if it works. So it's setting up the job here, and it tell us the operating system. We have mentioned it LTS build of 24.3. Then it's setting up the permissions that I told you that this checkout actions are triggered. Then the setup Java triggered. Then this action triggered. Then it build the artifacts here, uploading the build, making the debugging build. These all steps are automated now, and we don't want to do anything. We only have to change the code here. Like I have to change the code here, and then I have to commit and push the code. Then automatically this GitHub action triggered, and according to your YAML file, it performed the actions for you. Now, let's see if it can upload the artifacts from here to here. So we can see if there is any release here. Right now there is no release here. Let us finish the process. It's doing something, building the APK of debug. So it's you can attach with it your any code analysis tool. So it can analyze your code and then tell you that this code you need to fix this and you need to fix this. As you can see that this is uploading the binary, uploaded new release. So yeah, it's successfully done. Alhamdulillah. So now on the Firebase, when it comes here and you refresh, you do have the build. So yes, we do have the build here, and now you can check in the release note and the committed message edit workflow. So now you can you can add the testers here in the group, and anyone can when you commit the code, you push the code to the repository. Anyone can get the build in few 2 to 3 minutes. So this is all about the GitHub Actions. There are a lot more things because I'm running out of time. Otherwise, I'll tell you more things about this, but I'll share this presentation with you guys. So this is all from my side. I've already explained this. Uh, if you have a questions, so I'm ready to answer.
All right. Thank you, Saad. Thanks. Appreciate your time. I don't think we have any question for now,
Yeah.
but I think we can do another episode of this one in coming weeks, right?
Yes, we can do that. Yes, because there are many things I skipped because of time. So we do have a big room.
Sure, sure, sure. Let's
Yeah.
set up another episode later in some weeks, and we'll definitely have to take your time out for that.
Sure,
So,
but Alhamdulillah, we are we have achieved our target. We have successfully uploaded the artifact to Firebase.
yeah, yeah, that was wonderful. Again,
Yeah.
thank you very much. Abdurrahman is here.
Thank you.
Over to you, Abdurrahman.
Yep. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, Saad, for giving us the time, and we'll surely have some more episodes on this in coming weeks. We'll let the audience know the details on the new schedule. And thank you so much for your time, and thank you guys for joining as well.
Thank
And
you,
we'll
guys.
see you in the next one. Allah Hafiz.
Bye.